BGC ClubCast. This is going to be a show where we talk about what's going on in the clubs, what's going on in the community, and to really share with you our kids, our board of directors, our staff, our supporters, our donors, and just everyone that's a part of our BGC family. Today, it's going to be about me and Melanie. Melanie, our Chief Operating Officer, and myself, Will Armstead, Chief Executive Officer. We're just going to talk a little bit about what happened, some really cool stuff that happened in 2018, and some things that are going to happen in 2019. So we're just going to get this conversation started.
Let's get started.
Let's just get going. So Melanie, why do we do what we do?
Well, we do what we do so that we can impact the lives of children in St. Lucie County, and we can make sure that they have a safe place they feel like they belong, whether that's in the morning, whether that's after school, in the summer, that we provide them with a world-class club experience. So when they come to us, that they have caring staff that engage them in awesome programs. So we cover their academics, we give them good character, and we help them to live a healthy lifestyle.
That's awesome. Well, I've been working with you for a very long time, even when I was on the board of directors and now as a chief executive officer. What did you do this past year? There were so many cool things that happened this year. I just want to just kind of like lay it out on the line.
I think the biggest things that we did is to invest time in speaking to our community and finding out what they wanted. So for some of those conversations, it's, okay, are we impacting all the kids we can get in high schools right now? Are we in the right neighborhoods? Is there a middle school out there that needs our help? So I think that we invested the time in speaking with community leaders and especially with our school district to find out what it is that our kids needed and if there were pockets of kids right now that we weren't touching. And I think that we had some expansions at some new schools, and we have some coming down the pike in 2019, and some really interesting and innovative programs so that we can better serve our kids. And I think that's something that we're really proud of for 2018.
Well, I know we served a lot of kids this year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've surpassed the past years. I think we were like over 8,000 kids annually. I think we have 2,000 kids we serve every single day, 19 locations. I know you're looking at a couple of middle schools to go into. I know we're looking at a couple of high schools where we were requested to go into them and look and see if we could partner. We're looking at some just really cool, innovative ways. I mean, we haven't quite got there yet, but what do you think about this whole bus idea? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
So the other day we were setting up a mock Boys and Girls Club, and we were laughing. We're like, okay, it's a club in a box. And so we literally set a club up with just a couple boxes of supplies. But to take that a million steps further and have a club on a bus where we can actually transport a club anywhere in the county that it's needed, open those doors up, lay out a fun environment, have engaging activities, have those fun supplies for the kids, and just the bus in itself having that branding where kids will know, here it comes, and maybe we have some loudspeakers going on. I think that it will be very much welcomed into any community, and I think kids will be looking forward to that club in a bus pulling up.
That's awesome. I know when I was talking to Mayor Orvac several months back, or maybe even almost a year ago, he had put in a grant to see if we could get that club in a bus. So we also talked with Allegheny about that, about having a club in a bus. So I think with your energy, we're gonna produce this thing. I don't know what it is. We're gonna work with the school district. I know we're going to work with the county, the city, some other entities. I know I talked to Sean Boyle. We were having just a conversation about it. He was like, couldn't we have this club in a bus, and couldn't we also put books on it so that, you know, we could go in the neighborhoods, give the kids books. It can just be a, what do you call it? Just a one-stop shop. Yeah. So to speak.
We can have guest celebrities from the community.
That would be so cool. That would be so cool.
We hit a certain neighborhood and they have a specific community resource that they can talk to parents in that neighborhood or kids about as well. So the possibilities are endless. So
personally, I like that fact because, we have our clubs, brick and mortar, but that's not always the way. So it's like we got to be able to go in We're not going to build a bunch of $1 million buildings. We got to figure out a way to get to these kids now, because my understanding is there's 62,000 kids in St. Lucie County. How do we give them a safe, fun learning environment where they want to come to the club? Can you just think about this? If I could dream about it, a kid coming out of their house, running to the bus, kind of hanging out with us.
And the fact that we've engaged in the community and that we've been at over 70 events this year, and yes, we set up our booths there, and yes, we may have a couple kids there, but to take something other than just a booth and to set up a real live Boys and Girls Club where kids can get on the bus on the weekend and really check it out, and maybe they never thought about going to a Boys and Girls Club, but that was their first experience, and then they're ready to sign up and either keep going on the bus, or maybe they want to go to one of our neighborhood clubs or to one of our schools.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We also had so many other cool things. Dinner program. Tell me about that one. That was
feeding dinner to the kids has been phenomenal. I know that when we met with the school district, and it was kind of, I think when we started, it was like that pie in the sky. Okay, we want it to happen, but what's that going to look like, and who are our partners going to be? And then when the school district stepped up and the food bank and really said, okay, what can we do to make these kids have dinner every night? And it happened so quickly, that was pretty amazing. So this fall when we started, the kids were pleasantly surprised, and so were the parents, because now they're getting a nutritional meal every single night. Hot meals, a lot of the days, cold meals. The kids are enjoying it. It's letting them have their bellies full so they can do their homework, they can participate in activities, and then by the time their parents pick them up, which is sometimes 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night, they're not at this exhaustion and feeling just so depleted of energy. They're still in a really good spot. So.
Well, what's funny for me is that we added more work to our staff. And we have 166 staff members. Most of them are part-time, and none of them have complained about the additional work that we put on them to serve the kids.
Yeah, I think that one of our club directors had put it best, because she realized what a great resource it was, because a parent came to her and said, you don't know what this means for our life. It's life-changing for this particular family. And I think that's how a lot of our club staff feel. Feed the kids, it's the right thing to do, and so they were willing to step up and make it happen, and that's why, if there was a challenge, they faced it head on and they figured out a way to make the process a little bit better, but at the end of the day, the kids are fed and they're happy.
How about that St. Lucie Public Schools? I mean, what an awesome partnership. I mean, we work with them on trauma-informed care, we work on getting data from them. We presented this idea to them. They said, let's do it. I mean, we're in 14 of their locations providing the service for their kids, our kids. I mean, it's just a great partnership. And
it's been wonderful this year on the clubs really feeling like an extension of school, and that it is our kids. So the more that we're able to meet with their leadership, the more that we've had conversations with their principals and really aligned ourselves with what the school is trying to provide, so that we can deliver the ultimate experience to our kids, so that they are more successful at school, and so that when the kids are in school, they are more successful at the club, and even getting to the club and knowing about the club. So there's been a lot of growth this year, and I think that they have really developed that partnership to a whole new level.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We this past year, and this is our very first ClubCast doing, so it feels a little crazy, a little funny, but we had some great events happen. I mean, we had a seafood fest, first ever seafood fest. One of our youth of the year, for St. Lucie County got to hang out with Dr. Oz. That was pretty amazing. We had our Steak and Steak, which had 500 people in the audience. I mean, that was awesome, right? We had our chili cook-off, and that was huge. I mean, that was a huge success. We had a fishing tournament. Wow, like kids got to get on the boat, and they got to catch fish out in the ocean.
That was pretty cool. That was a neat experience.
Have you heard was any feedback?
Oh, absolutely. I actually went to our Infinity unit yesterday, and one of the kids is like, when am I getting to go fishing again?
That's
they're still
awesome.
talking about it. It was so impactful for them to be able to get out in a boat and catch their fish for the first time. And I think it opens our eyes to challenge ourselves too as an organization, like what else can we do during the year to provide innovative experiences for the kids that they normally wouldn't do. So going to a park, going fishing, going to a baseball game. I mean, there's a lot of things that we take for granted that our kids just don't normally get to do. And for this year, we're really excited about exposing them to more and really just helping their minds expand and getting them to dream about bigger possibilities for themselves.
Well, I mean, obviously we can't do this by ourselves, so we did reach out to CSC on that one, and it was like, hey, look, this is going to be an experience that these kids have never had. So can you help us out? So they were able to help us with some funding for that particular one,
Absolutely.
and some other ones that we do throughout the year. Chili Cook-Off was awesome. I mean, when I go to Chili Cook-Off, you just see all the teams out. Everyone's out there trying to raise money for kids. Sometimes I don't like the word charity, but it is what it is. But they're raising money so that our community, our kids are getting the best. And so as we look forward to this new year coming up, what are you thinking? I mean, we have our 25th year anniversary coming up. 25 years in St. Lucie County. Any ideas of where we're going to go with that this year?
I think that we're really going to look at where we came from. So what does our past look like? Where are we at right now? Where have we come? And then dreaming of those possibilities of what's to come. And I think that that's what we're going to be celebrating in our 25th year, and asking the community, okay, what are the next steps? What are you thinking? What's on your strategic plans for all these businesses, for the county, the cities? And then for us to say, okay, we fit in there, and this is exactly what we're going to do to bring these ideas to fruition.
That's awesome. And then, of course, we have the Youth of the Year that's coming up on February 6th. That's just going to be amazing.
Yes.
That's just my absolute best or my most precious event that we do each year because we get to showcase the kids. And we know how hard they work, and we know that from a public speaking standpoint, that's very difficult to get up in front of a bunch of adults you don't know and really put yourself out there. So what are they doing to prepare themselves?
So our youth have been diligently, number one, they've already worked on their packets and turned them in. So they have to write essays about themselves that deal with their academics, what they believe in for their post-secondary education, how they represent themselves well in the community with living a healthy lifestyle, and what their community outreach looks like. So really for them to sit back and do that introspection on what they want to put on paper about themselves, and that's the first time that these kids have really done that. And what's really cool about the packets and the fact that they put it down on paper is our kids can utilize that writing and really selling themselves and their brand later on when they apply for scholarships and some other things. So it's not just a one-time packet. So they've done that already, and then they've been preparing with their speeches, which you and I have heard a couple of speeches already. It takes a lot of guts to get up in front of a group of people and really just tell your story about what your challenges have been, how Boys and Girls Clubs has helped you, what your vision is for all the other youth that's in this community. But these 4 candidates have really taken that head on, and they're taking it seriously. And so the next piece is just working on that panel piece with the interview and getting them used to that. And so we have Leadership Day, I believe it's January 26th that's coming up, and that's going to play a huge part in prepping them for that. What does it look like to go out and shake hands and to meet all of these high community officials, allowing our kids the opportunity to interview other adults so that they see what it's like to be on the other side of the panel interview. Meeting some new people and seeing some of the business and industry and some of the colleges in the area as well. So it's an awesome program, and I think our kids are getting well prepared right now for the competition in February.
That's awesome. I got a couple more things I want to talk about. Infinity. I mean, this place, if you just saw Infinity at first, I mean, I hate to compare it to a jail, but that's what it looked like. It was just bars on the windows. But our relationship with an organization has really transformed that building, and we serve, I don't know, 100 kids in there, 100 and something kids there a day. And so Fort Pierce Housing Authority has just done a remarkable job at just really transforming that entire community. Tanisha's doing an awesome job over there. I heard someone say it was like a well-oiled machine, just
It
the way
is.
it works. So
It's very inspiring to think about how one clubhouse in one neighborhood, which is the Lincoln Park community, how that's going to transform so many other things, where our club is going to lead to families spending time together even in that park, or having community resources come in and having that available for them, and having that safe place that's beautiful, well-equipped, for our kids to come every day after school. And in the summer, I'm sure it's going to be off the chain and just well-attended as well. And then the police department that's there. I mean, they have a station that's right across the park from us, and the possibilities are endless, but we're already seeing it. We're already seeing parents more engaged. We already see a lot of people from the neighborhood just walking and checking the building out and using the park, and we have a party there this weekend. So we're very excited, and our alumni visited the club as well, and they were just blown away by what they saw. So can't wait to see how Infinity makes its mark on the Lincoln Park community.
well, it's so cool because you were mentioning the park. I know the city manager, Nick Mims, who's also a board member. They were able to get the youth council to say, hey, this is what we want, and this is what we want the park to look like. So what a great partnership between us and the city of Fort Pierce. So I'm looking forward to that as well. There's just so much to talk about, but any closing remarks you want to speak about before I close out?
I think that I just want to speak to our team. Our staff has done a phenomenal job this year, really just raising the bar with their own personal development. I know you mentioned trauma-informed care. There's a lot that they took on this year. There's a lot that they put in their brains, and there's a lot that they took on in their hearts to better serve our kids. And I know for next year, they're looking forward to more development for themselves. And I think that's just going to take us to the next level, because they're our front line. They're the ones working directly with our kids, and they have ownership in that. And so I'm excited to see what 2019 has to bring.
That's awesome. Well, I'm extremely proud of my board of directors. I have a working board of 23 very influential individuals in the community, and I can call any of them at any time. I just called two of them. I called Assistant Chief of Police Richard Del Toro recently, and I called Angelique Lyons, who's an attorney, a local attorney, and said, hey, look, I know we received tons and tons and thousands of toys, but I have a very specific family that is in need. And there were teenagers, and you know, people don't give toys and gifts to teenagers most of the time. And so they both stepped up, and they're going to go shopping for that family to make sure they have a great Christmas. And the cool thing is that my entire board is that way. I can call any of them, but when it's time to get to the business, they're on the business, and they continue to look at innovative ways as a board. So I'm very happy about that. But I want to talk about the donor. We have so many cool donors out there, and they're just not donors. I want to say they're friends of the club. They make sure that our kids are taken care of. I just recently called a donor about a situation that happened, and that donor stepped up and gave $1,000. So it really isn't about just Boys and Girls Clubs. It's about the community, and we're just a part of it. So this is our very first time doing this, Melanie.
Yeah.
You and I have never done this before, but we look forward to doing this every week and sharing some information with you about the club, about what's going on with some of our community leaders. They'll sit in and talk with me and share with you some of the great things that are going on with them. So I know who my first guest is because I talked to this young man yesterday about it, and it's my good friend Travis Leonard with A&G Pools. He is very excited to be my second guest, but my first community partner and donor to the Boys and Girls Clubs, and has done it for so many years. And I look forward to having some discussion about not just the club, but about his business and his very lovely pools that he puts out there. So thank you for joining us, and we look forward to talking to you soon.